familiar with Unity, you can see, you'll immediately see that on the right side of the screen here is a new kind of window. It's called the Light Explorer. It's a window that lets you very quickly see all the lights in your scene and has all the things that you often want to change in one convenient place. It's also really useful to, at a quick glance, see how this scene is lit. For instance, in this scene you can see that all my lights here are baked lights and that we only have one real-time light at the bottom. This is a very common way of how you set up lighting for a low-end mobile game. Now, let's use the Light Explorer a little bit to see what we can do. I'm gonna click this drop-down here, and you can see that we can set 3 different light types. The first one is baked. A baked light is a light that contributes its lighting to the light map. It's very efficient from a performance perspective, but it's not super flexible, because once it's baked into the light map, you can no longer change the light. You can no longer change the color, or the intensity, or the position, or whether it's on or off. On the other side of the spectrum, we have a real-time light. A real-time light is the most expensive light when it comes to performance, but it is the most flexible, because these lights, you are able to change the position, the color, whether it's on or off, at runtime while the game is running. So this is the kind of light, for instance, that you would attach to a rocket that gets shot through a level. And new in Unity 5.6 is this one in between, the mixed mode light, which we've completely re-implemented in Unity 5.6. A mixed mode light sits in between these other two. It's a light that will, for static objects, put the lighting for these objects into light maps. But then for dynamic objects, like the player character, imagine the player character walking behind the light, it's also able to cast shadows for these dynamic objects. And it's smart enough to make sure that the shadow for the character doesn't double shadow against the shadows that were already present in the light map. Okay, so in 5.6 we have this new Light Explorer. We have completely new, re-implemented mixed mode lighting. And the third one I want to show you today is the one that I'm crazy excited about. It's the new progressive light mapper. Let's take a look. I'll use the Light Explorer to select my light over here. And let's zoom into that. You can see that they sell some bones, apparently. And I'm going to use the Light Explorer to change the color of this light. So, I want you to pay close attention to when I change the color of the light and when you see the results in the scene. So I'm going to click it now. Here we go. Click 1, 2. It takes about 2 seconds for me to see the result of the change of the light. If this would have been a real-time light, the change would have been immediate. But this is a baked light, as you can see over here in the Light Explorer. And because a baked light first needs to go through the light map, Unity actually needs to make a light map before you can see the results in the scene. Now, in typical light mapping setups, it could take 10 minutes or 20 minutes or much longer before a light map would finish the bake. And the great thing about the new progressive light mapper in Unity 5.6 is that even though right now the light map is not completely done yet, you can already see some results. For instance, it was perfectly clear within a few seconds that pink was not the most amazing choice for this scene. And that's a thing that really makes this new light mapper special. It's the fact that artists get feedback within seconds. At least in this scene, it's within seconds. And that completely changes the game. Imagine an artist having to wait 2 hours for the light map to bake, and then to see that that the intensity of the street lights was too much. and then they try to tone it down a little bit, and then they have to wait another 2 hours to see if that was the right amount or not the right amount. By allowing artists to get results faster, you allow them to try many more different things, which just allows them to create much better content in a shorter amount of time. There's another trick that we use to get you these results so quickly. I'm going to actually change the color back, and instead of paying attention to how much time it takes to see the first result, I want you to pay attention to what happens after you see the first result. So I'm going to set it back to a bit of yellowish. It takes about a few seconds to see the result, but now look at these shelves here, and look at what's going on under this thing. While I am talking here, Unity is making the light map better and better and better. And even though the light map is not completely finished yet, you don't really care, because you can already see enough to make the changes you want. And then, as we sit here, Unity will do its thing and will just take its time to refine and refine and refine the lighting. Another trick that we use to get you these results so quickly is that we only light map the parts of the scene that you're actually looking at right now. So if I were to zoom out, let's try that. If I were to zoom out here, notice that only this part was actually light mapped. This whole rest of the scene is still black, because Unity prioritized the thing that I wanted to see right now. And only now that I'm zoomed out is Unity trying to catch up and light these other parts of the scene as well. If I do that again, I zoom out more, you can see the same thing happening. And same thing, if I zoom in, if I go to this room here in the back and I zoom in, Unity realizes like, hey, Lucas probably wants to see the lighting in this room right now. Let's start getting the lighting for this room ready. Guess it's a bit slow today. Here we go. So, these three things combined. The new Light Explorer window, which lets you, at a glance, get an overview of all the lights in your scene and have one place where you can change all the things that you want to do when you're a lighting artist that's setting up lighting for a scene. Completely re-implemented mixed mode lighting, and the brand new progressive light mapper make Unity 5.6 be an enormous step up when it comes to artist productivity in Unity. There's more, however, and there's one more feature I want to demonstrate for you today, and it's a brand new set of navigation tools. Let's take a look at what they look like. I've set up my scene here of a character that's being chased by a shark for no obvious reason. And if I click here, you can see that the character runs to the end and then gets caught by the shark. So let's see how this was made. I'm going to select this object here, and you can see in the blue that this is a navigation service, or a nav mesh, how we used to call them before. One of the nice things that you might notice of this nav mesh is that instead of being like something tied to a scene, it's actually a regular component now, over here. And because it's a regular component, it means that you can have more than one. Let's try that. I'm going to add a new nav mesh surface here. Just comes a second component on my game object. For this one, I'm going to bake it for the agent type of shark, which is a little bit bigger. And then when I hit bake, you can see that I get my second navigation surface here. So that's a big improvement. You can now have multiple navigation surfaces in a single scene. If I'm going to go to my shark man and tell him that he should use the shark navigation surface, hit play, you'll see that the character will make it to the other end, but the shark is actually unable to follow because he's too fat to go through these obstacles. No offense to the shark. So, navigation surfaces, they are just components. And because they are components, it means that they can now also live on prefabs. Let's try that out. I have a prefab set up over here. Just going to drag that into the scene. And you can see that this prefab, it already came with the navigation surface baked in. So not only can you have more than one, you can just have them come in from prefabs that you even load at runtime. And you can see that this navigation surface over here is still attached to these other ones with what we call a navigation link. It has these cool little gizmos on the side where you can specify the width, make it very wide or very narrow. You can also change the position where they get hooked up like this. Okay, let's see if I can actually get this to work. I'm gonna go to my player here and make her aim for this transform that I set up over here at the top. I'm gonna hit play, and if all goes well, she'll actually walk up there. What do you know? So we can have them on prefabs. We can just drag them in. They get connected with these navigation links, and as you'll notice, you can actually have these things at arbitrary orientations now. They no longer have to be flat. The best thing that I like most about it is that you can do all these things at runtime. Let me show you. I have a scene here that's a procedural scene. That means that when I press play, it will make a random maze. And it's different every time. Let's see. Let's select that. Here we go. Let's find the top one. So this is what the navigation surface looks like right now. But because this maze is different every time the game starts, you cannot bake the navigation surface in the Unity editor because it's different every time. But that's cool about this new set of navigation tools, is that's okay because we can do the baking at runtime. Take a look. If I tell the character to navigate here, she'll just go there. And notice that we are in play mode, but I can just select maybe this one, delete it, take this one, maybe move that up, and maybe take some of these yellow things and move them around. Maybe this one can go all together. Let's see, something like that. Now, I've coded it up that when you give the player a new destination, we rebake the navigation surface. So take a look at what the blue stuff looks like right now, and see how it changes when I make the character walk somewhere else. So the navigation surface, it's able to adjust to the new geometry. Geometry that could be in places that you had no idea of when you were making the game. So that's super cool. So you're able to have more than one navigation surface in a scene. You're able to have navigation surfaces on prefabs. You can connect these with these off-mesh links. You can grab them together at runtime. They can be at whatever orientation you want. And you can do all of that at runtime. That makes this set of navigation tools applicable to a wider range of games than ever before. Unfortunately, that's it for me today. Please help me welcome the next speaker to the stage. Junyoung Park, I've been practicing this all morning. Junyoung Park from Samsung.